All right, in this video, I'm gonna share with you guys the best strategies that are working right now to grow your coaching business and get more clients on Instagram, even if you have a small following. And to prove to you guys that this works, I'm gonna open up my tracking software and show you the results that I've been getting in the last 6 months using this strategy. All right, so I've got this pulled up right here, and this is Hyros, this is my tracking software. And I filtered this out with any lead that has the tag Instagram. That means they came from Instagram, whether it was the DMs, they clicked my link in bio or clicked a story. All of that, I have little tracking codes I put on the end of all the links. If you're not doing that, you should be. And in the past 6 months, I've gotten 631 leads just from Instagram. And of those, that has booked 229 calls. And of those, we have 257 sales, whether that's low ticket, high ticket, subscriptions. They're kind of all throughout. You can kind of see a lot of these are low ticket, some of these are high. And just to show this to you guys on Stripe, in the last 6 months alone, just on this Stripe account, we've collected over 800 or close to about $800,000 in cash, and new customers from this has been 95. Now, this is a combo of both paid ads as well as Instagram, but most of our traffic does come on Instagram, or even the ads are on Instagram, but they come through the DMs, they come through the stories, all of that stuff. So Instagram's a huge driver for this. Now, you might be like looking at that and be like, well, I have a small following. There's no way I'd hit these numbers. Guys, I don't have that big of a following either. All right, I know it says 17.1 thousand followers on there. A lot of you guys might have just a couple thousand. My account has grown from ads. It has not grown from posting viral content. I don't have the best engagement. I treat Instagram as a business card. It is my business profile, and I use it to conduct business. I use it to get leads. I use it to make calls. I use it to sign clients. I don't have viral content. If you guys look at most of my content, like this one's got 21 likes. This has got 52 likes. It's got 65 likes, 55, 58, 34 likes, 64 comments, 76 likes, 63. So you can see most of my stuff only gets like 50 something likes. All right. Yet I'm still able to pull in as many leads as I just showed you and calls and clients from this. So the reason I'm sharing this is if I can do it, so can you. My reels don't get a ton of views, right? If I come over here and you'll see in here, most of these are going to be between 1,000 and 2,000, maybe 1,000 and 3,000. All right. This one's an outlier, 5,700, but most of these are pretty low, but I'm still able to conduct business and still convert those leads really well. And let me show you why. Let me first show this and then I'll jump into Meta some more, but I wanted to share this because this is the new way of growing online. Okay. It's really hard nowadays to try to create viral content and get quality people from that. I don't believe that actually works. Okay, I don't. The best way that I found to get more clients consistently day in, day out is to utilize paid ads as well as collaborations with other brands. And that could be if you're part of masterminds or other groups, going to those groups, being an active participant or parts in your community, gyms, all the things that where your ideal client hangs out, being part of those communities. That's one, because then you already have that trust that's associated with that group and you're just an in. And the other is through paid ads. With paid ads, I can have very specific call outs in the ads that only call out specific people. I can use lookalike audiences and targeted audience that are just going to be in front of my ideal clients. I can't do that with content. And that's also why if you make really dialed in content for an avatar, like for me, most of my stuff is for coaches. And for a while, it's just been health and fitness coaches. I don't have a huge total addressable market. So my content's not going to have viral reach, right? I could create more content that's designed for that, but that's not necessarily my play. My play is to use Instagram in the middle of the funnel, just like I have here. Instagram and YouTube, just like this, are middle of the funnel content that builds know, like, and trust from these two avenues up here at top, right? So if right now I spend probably close to about $1,000 a day in paid ads. I started off, doing $20, $30 a day and slowly have scaled up as I became more profitable. But I do these and I probably do a guest masterclass 2 to 3 times a month, right? In front of other people who have 100 plus students or 100 plus people in their community so that I can get more eyeballs on me, right? So I do something for top of funnel. This could also be like, being a podcast guest, etc. That also would be a collaboration. And then I use Instagram and YouTube as my middle of funnel to build the know, like, and trust. Then I use DMs as well as email marketing to seal the deal, right? To book calls where we then talk to our clients, make sure they're good fits, make sure we can help them, and then offer our services to them. This is the new way. Now, if you leverage all of this, again, if Instagram is the middle of the funnel, we've got to have top of funnel, and then we also have to have DMs. So let's talk about DMs here. Over the past 6 months, I've gained about 3.4 thousand followers, all right? I've also had a lot of unfollows, right? Look at this. I've had 2,045 unfollows. So I've gained 3.4. I've lost 2,000. I don't really care if people unfollow me. It means they aren't jiving with my content. They're not going to be a client. Okay, goodbye, right? I don't care about that. Now, of these 3.4 thousand followers, I treat them all as leads. So over here is my messaging performance. You'll see right here, same time period over here. In this same time period, I've started 3,000 conversations. Okay. Well, how many followers did I get? I got 3.4 thousand followers. Again, a lot of these came from ads, collaborations, some from content. But of those 3.4 thousand, my team and I have started 3,000 conversations. And those 3,000 conversations are what has led to all this data over here, right? 631 people have opted in, right? To a free training or a masterclass or whatever. 229 people have booked calls. Well, the only way that would have happened is if I started all these conversations. This is how you grow on Instagram. Stop trying to chase virality. We want to create, again, really good ads, work with people who already have our ideal client in front of us, make partnerships, make relationships, do the thing, right? Shake the hands, go into the rooms. And then we use Instagram and YouTube as a way to nurture, right? Anyone that follows us from these things, right? We then shoot them a message, right? We connect with people. And just from there alone, like that 3,000 conversations started, that led to, for me on calls, 229 calls, right? That's enough to change your business. That's enough to help you make 6, if not 7 figures, right? It really is. And that's what we've been able to do, okay? And if I can do it, I'm sure you can too, right? So that's a play. Now, let me give you guys some examples. What I want to transition to next is how to create really good middle of the funnel content so you can build that know, like, and trust to make sales with your ideal clients. Now, before I do that, real quick plug, if you guys want to learn how to run paid ads to fill this top of funnel, I'm going to have a link down below to my paid ads mini course. It is a school group that has everything on how to launch and scale ads, right? It's a full course in here. There's like 25 different modules in here. There's 3 types of funnels that we teach. We teach the basic boosted post to get more followers to shoot DMs. We teach the messenger ad. And we also teach a traditional sales funnel ad where someone opts into a freebie. They get emails and text message campaigns to then book calls with. So all of that's in here. Again, it's 4 to 5 hours of content, 26 different modules. Go check this out right now if you don't already have it. All right, so let's now transition back into the presentation here, okay? So again, the new way of growing on Instagram is to have content be the middle of the funnel. This is where you build trust with people. This is where you develop a relationship with them. And this allows you to be yourself, not this hyper energetic dancing person to try to create viral reels. That doesn't attract the right people. Whenever I see that, I might give someone a follow, but it's not because they're a master at their craft or because I want to learn from them. It's because they're entertaining. There's a big difference between me following someone because they're entertaining and me following somebody because they are an expert in their craft and I want to actually learn from them. Does that make sense? Okay, 2 totally different people, all right? Don't play the viral influencer game. We're going to play the expert game. That's what we want. So the reason I like this is because it doesn't feel forced. If you do it right, this should feel fun and this should feel authentic because we're positioning ourselves as the expert. Now, why is this important, right? So if you guys haven't seen this already, I know a lot of other creators talk about this or coaches, business coaches talk about this, but Google came out with a study. It's called the 7-11-4 rule. And it's a framework that describes interactions that customers have had with a brand before making a purchase. And what they find is that typically the average consumer spends about 7 hours, that's a long time, researching a product or service before making a decision on it. Okay, so that means they're spending 7+ hours with you or on other brands making a decision on what's the best one for them. Okay, that's a pretty long time, right? They have 11 different interactions on average, which are essentially touch points with that brand that they make a decision with, okay? And then they interact across 4 platforms. This could be Instagram, YouTube, email, etc., text message, all the things. So the 11 interactions is where your content plays a role here, okay? So if someone needs to consume at least 11 pieces of content, and they need to spend enough time with you, right? And this is why content, especially longer form content like YouTube, works extremely well. So even if I come back to this here, for me, it's like paid ads, collaborations, then it goes Instagram. And YouTube is actually underneath Instagram in my funnel. I push a lot of people to YouTube. I push them into the emails and then I push them back to YouTube because YouTube, it just works really well for this. People can spend a lot of time with me. My average video is 30-ish minutes. You know, so if I need to have somebody consume 7 hours of content, I can do that in YouTube videos. I can do that in Instagram stories, just me talking straight to camera, longer form. I can create carousels, which we'll talk about in a second, which is actually mid-form content, and people spend more time on a carousel than they do a reel, right? So we need to have middle of the funnel content so we can do this. Gone are the days you can just run ads and people buy from you. People need to develop that know, like, and trust, okay? And we do that with specific content. So let's talk about that. We're gonna go over 3 important tips right now if you're trying to grow your business on Instagram, okay? All right, tip number 1 is that you wanna be the person that your ideal client wants to become, okay? This is so key. We are in a day and age now where AI is everywhere. The information on how to do something is as simple as me picking up the phone, right? And saying, hey, ChatGPT, how does this work? And then ChatGPT is gonna say, hey, Matt, here's how it works. And it's also gonna give me some nice compliments and say, you're so smart. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it's like, you're an expert. You're so intelligent. This is gonna crush. Like, thank you. You make me feel good. Let me keep using you. Like, as in asking questions. It's hilarious. But the information is available. Like, it's free now. Where you used to had to buy courses. And so, information on Instagram and stuff like that and social media used to be really, really helpful. Now, if someone wants an answer, they don't need to wait for your next post. They can just go to ChatGPT and ask it directly. So now we need to change. And what's happening online for creating content is that people are now buying you. They're buying your story, right? They're not buying you because you're smart, right? They're buying you because they relate to you. They like your energy. They want to be supported by you. They want to learn from you, right? So what we want to do is twice a week, we want to post content that relates to your ideal client. Okay, so I'm going to share you guys a couple examples of this, but this is my beautiful girlfriend, Claire, and she does a fantastic job of doing this, right? So this is just her sharing a vulnerable story. This is her before, and then you can see this is all very almost long form content. Like, look how much text is on here. Hey, this is me in 2012. I was unhappy. This was happening the next years. And then it just keeps going, right? Like, and it goes very in depth on her journey, her story, right? This is what people connect with and vibe with. They're like, wow, you're so real. You're so vulnerable, right? This is exactly what I see myself in your story, right? And this is so long form. This took a long time for her to create, but this is the stuff that converts. This is the stuff that's like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm inspired by your journey, right? That stuff just does so well. And yes, it takes time to create. You can't ChatGPT this. You can have ChatGPT ask you the right questions so you can create it. But if you want to actually convert clients, build the know, like, and trust, you can't just read off a script, right? You've got to actually make things that are genuine and share your story. This is the secret. I'm telling you right now, the more vulnerability that you put out in social media, the more clients you will get. If there's anything you take away from this video right now, I want that to be it, okay? Second example of this is, that was a very longer form one, but even in your posts, even if they're educational in nature, anytime you can add storytelling to them, they just convert way higher. Okay, so here's a quick example for a plug that I did for a masterclass. Just notice that how I started this. And yes, ChatGPT did help me with this because I added a story component to it, right? This is just a simple selfie of me. It looks pixelated because it's on my computer and got my Zevia here. Love Zevia. But I relate to people on purpose before I transition to my offer. A few years ago, I was exhausted trying to grow my business, posting every day, spending hours on content, worrying if the algorithm was going to like me that week, right? And the worst part is it didn't bring me any clients I needed to grow, right? So this was like relating to my current ideal client. That's when I discovered how to use Instagram ads. Since then, I've used ads to sign 20 plus clients a month without this. Now I'm hosting this, go learn this below. So this post, just like when someone's scrolling their feed, they see a simple photo of me that's just pointing to something, hey, and then it leads off with a tiny bit of story. That little tiny bit of story automatically converts way higher than like, are you doing this and you need this? Change any of the you, like you should do this, stop that. Stop it and flip it and talk about you, your journey. And some people are like, oh, but I shouldn't talk about me. No, you should talk about you. As long as you align to your ideal client avatar and your story, you should share your story, especially if you overcame a big thing that your ideal client is trying to overcome themselves now, okay? So you can do it there. And then here's just a simple another one. This was a tweet that I just repurposed. And again, I just made this a story. Okay. I could have just left this and said, hey, you only need 30 clients to make $100,000 a year. That's it. Right. But I decided to change that. Again, ChatGPT helped me with this. And I gave it some stories, gave it some prompts and said, hey, I took a photo of this, put it in the ChatGPT and said, hey, can you help me make a caption with this? And here's the story that I want to tell. And it helped me do that. All right. So takeaway from point 1, use storytelling, be vulnerable, be the person that your ideal client wants to become. And I'm going to, again, highlight Claire. She does a way better job at this, honestly, than I do. But it's just, if you can go vulnerable, go deep and give a lot and spend a lot of time on your content, sharing your story as it relates to your ideal client, you will do well, right? So like, here's another one. I'm 31 this year And I'm ashamed to admit, like, ooh, interesting. This is her still, right? This has helped me how I regulated my nervous system after 20 years of doing this, of fight and flight, right? Pre and post workout routine. Gosh, I really want to know what that is. You know what I mean? So she does a fantastic job of it. I think she should do a YouTube video on it for you guys. What do you think? Okay, cool. So tip number 1, post more personal stories. Be the attractive character that people want to become. Hands down, the best thing you can do. Okay. Tip number 2, carousels are still crushing it. Okay. These position you as the authority. And these are actually some of my favorite ads because there's something about them that just command authority. When I see a simple white and black Twitter post or black and white Twitter post, it just demands authority, right? And real quick, this is from Social Insiders. And what this says here is that carousels, this was from 2025, carousels are the most engaging content type, averaging 0.55 engagement rate per post. Reels have a 0.5, and then images have 0.45. So carousels actually have more engagement, but that's typically of your own followers, right? And carousels also have the highest number of saves, while reels will drive more comments and typically more views. Carousels are that middle of the funnel content again, because let's come back to this again, just because of how important this is, right? If we're using this new model here and Instagram's in the middle and carousels get more saves, they build more know, like, and trust. People are going to come back to that because it was so good. And it also, it requires more people to spend more time with you because they have to read every single slide. And if you give them more information, it's a perfect middle of the funnel piece of content. I'll give you an example of that. But if you guys scroll through, like most of last year, the data I was sharing with you guys, I did a ton of carousels. These are my best performing posts. Recently, I've been spending a lot more time on here and spending a lot more time on ads. But if I look through, my best performing stuff are all carousels from last year. And I honestly like them because this is very scalable. Because let's say I could, if I wanted to, I haven't done this, but I could hire a ghostwriter and the ghostwriter could write all these for me, right? And that's extremely scalable, right? And the ones that these do well, you can boost them, right? And we can get more followers that way. We can turn a carousel middle of the funnel piece into a top of funnel piece, right? A paid ad that brings in more qualified people because, again, I'm following somebody because of not entertainment, but because they are an expert and I want to learn from them. And still to this day, nothing I found that like commands authority like a carousel. Okay. Here's another example from another client of mine who's about to pass 100,000 followers. And he really relies on carousels. Like the difference between his carousel posts, like look at this one. They don't always hit, but when they do hit, they hit hard. This one's got almost 2,000 likes compared to his videos, reels, 12, 15, 10, 13. Again, he's a very smart guy, but huge difference in performance here, right? People love this stuff. And he gets most of his clients from that. 445, 212. And with ChatGPT, you can crank these things out, right? Like you can crank out a lot of these, right? I'll make another video in the future about how to make these with ChatGPT, but I built a whole GPT that I use for ads and give it to my clients so that they can just use these things, right? Use a high engaging hook and create this content that goes very deep in value that's provided. Let me pull up the one that is doing really well for him. And just like I use him a lot in my videos as examples because of how deep he goes in this, like how much copy and words are in there. Like look how he's showing the thing. You see what I'm saying? He's showing the movement. In like 2020 or maybe 2015, probably 2015 to 2020, there used to be a lot of fitness influencers that would do my top 5 workouts. And it was just a carousel of people doing the exercises. And those things crushed. They still crush, right? You can use copy as well to go a little bit longer form. And then at the end of it, you just have a CTA. Hey, drop this below and I'll send this over. And right now, like, again, this was launched 3 days ago, gotten 560 comments. Why? Because he went in depth. Again, gave a lot more value. This is where if I was trying to grow, I would share more stories and I would do a lot more carousels. Okay, here's another example of this. This is from my friend Adrian. So similar, he positions himself as an expert. He has a PhD and he talks a whole lot about studies and he breaks down studies inside of here. They perform extremely well. They get a lot of high shares and he debunks a lot of myths, right? And he does it also in reels as well. So like, this one did pretty well, but you can see this still performed better. All these have still performed better than his reels, right? That's pretty close, right? But the carousels just hit, right? And again, they're easy to make. You could outsource this if you wanted to. You could convert a YouTube video like this or a reel into this. All right. So takeaway number 2, coming back over here is make more carousels, okay? Make more carousels. They'll position you as an expert. They'll get more clients. If you do that, you talk more about your personal story and you are the attractive character your clients will become, you'll do well. Tip number 3, is use more social proof. The people who do these two things and don't do tip 3 don't make any money because no one knows what their offer is. When you showcase client results and say, hey, look at this client who got this incredible result for me, you're indirectly saying, I have an offer and I help this person with my offer. And without talking about your offer and showcasing wins, nobody knows what you do. So this is one of the easiest ways to say, hey guys, I have an offer and I help people just like you get this result. So here's a quick example of one of mine. And this is a business expense for me. These trophies, I've got a bunch of them, one over there too, but these things get clients for us. And like, if you go to my website, I just have a ton of them on my website. They actually cost about $100 to $150 to make, but I put them everywhere. I run them as retargeting ads because this just shows, okay, he gets results, right? He gets results. So I have so many of these. You'll often see them as retargeting ads and they just work really, really well. There's just a stamp saying, boom, this person got the result that Matt promised them, right? So I do these, I try to do them like every 2 scrolls, ideally. We're a little bit backed up because of our supplier. We actually ordered some more today. This past month was probably our best month in terms of results. We're gonna order a lot of trophies. We got a 50K trophy to give somebody, at least 2 or 3 10K trophies and a couple 20K trophies too. Our hierarchy is 10, 20, and 50. All right, on top of posting stuff, we also want to showcase them in the stories. So one of the easiest ways to do that is our posts just like this. So every single Wednesday, we have a Win Wednesday inside of our coaching program. And I just take screenshots of all of those and I'll put them up on a Thursday. So every Thursday, I do my best to try to put up at least 3 to 5 screenshots of case studies and wins that our clients experienced. That way people can see again, oh, Matt has an offer. Matt helps coaches. This guy made 41K. This person hit it their first 10K month. Great. This person had a 4K paid in full. This person another paid in full for a year. So it just like shows, hey, here's all the things that Matt does, right? So that works well. And another social proof kind of play is every week or every other week, just depending on lead volume, is I'll pull a bunch of welcome messages. So like here are all of the new clients. It allows people who are thinking about working with me to click and see these pages. And they're like, wow, you know, this guy works with people that are like me, right? So I'm actually indirectly showing social proof by saying, hey, look at all these clients that we're working with. They're probably similar to you. And then people can look at their accounts and say they are, man, I'm going to book a call because he seems to help people that are just like me, right? So those are just some examples there. More examples for health and fitness are examples like this, like just very distinct before and afters, right? These don't get a lot of engagement. You can hide the likes if you like, that doesn't really matter. But it just shows, okay, wow, this person had a great transformation. These are our posts that will make you money. They don't get engagement, right? Because Instagram wants you to advertise these, right? So your views will be lower, but who cares? The whole purpose of using Instagram is to position yourself as an authority and get more leads. It's not to get a bunch of views, okay? Get a bunch of likes. If you're treating it that way, you're treating it the wrong way. You're treating it like an influencer, not a business owner. All right. So that's what we got. Those are the 3 tips that I've got in this video for you guys. I don't make a lot of viral reels. I could, but it's not the game I want to play. Coming back to it again, just to close this thing out, you know, this model right here is the way. It is the way. It is the most predictable way, because if I can have a way to get in front of new eyeballs every day with Instagram ads, Facebook ads, build my email list, get new followers, and I keep producing high value content, just like what you're seeing right now, and I keep messaging and helping more people for free in the DMs and emails, I will grow a business, okay? And I highly encourage you guys to use and implement this model too. Now, again, if you guys want access to the paid ads mini course so you can have more top of funnel content, I'll have a link below. And then second, if you guys want to see a video of how to do these DMs, right? Because again, that was the big part of this that made this thing work. I'll actually have the next video here. Won't be a link. It'll just be in this video. If you guys want to watch my exact DM process that I use from start to finish, the 7-step DM process, go ahead and click that link or click that video and watch it there. All right. That's all I got for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.